devotional series, Messages from Tiny People. And our lesson today is entitled Restoration. And we will read from the book of John, chapter 8, verse 4. And the Bible says, "Teacher," they said to Jesus, "this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?" And so here we find a crowd that has brought a woman caught in the very act of adultery to Christ, ready to stone her. They even brought stones and they tell Jesus the situation and they want him to judge. And when we look into the story, we will realize that these people were trying to find occasion of blaming Jesus, trying to find where they can put Jesus in a corner and say he once told people to do this and it was wrong. And so, even though they were trying to tempt Jesus, the story was real. The woman was caught in adultery. The woman was guilty, and so she's waiting for the verdict. She's waiting to be stoned. But when you look again into this story, these people were not fair as they brought this woman, because the law of Moses had said if a man and a woman are caught in adultery, they were supposed to be stoned. Both of them, they were supposed to be brought, and these people bring her alone. These people looked like they had tried to trap this woman into this situation so that they can find occasion of putting Jesus to the test. Sometimes you need to understand that there are people who are just there in life to drag your name down, to drag your life down to the mud, to the ground. Even though you are guilty, they are there to make it even worse. Jesus looks at the situation and he's quiet. He does not talk to anybody. They have brought him to Christ, and now it is time for him to speak or to act. And so Jesus decides to go down, and he says to himself, probably that's how I think, that's how I want to believe. As Jesus, they bring this woman, he says, "Thank you, you have brought her to the right place. This is my product, I made this woman, and so you have brought her exactly to me." But Jesus does not only attend to the woman alone, but he attends also to the people around her, because we or they were also his creation. And he goes down and he says, "I'm not afraid of getting dirty. When I was creating this woman, I made her out of dust. My hands got dirty." And he starts writing on the ground silently. You need to understand that when Jesus is quiet, salvation is taking place. When Jesus is quiet, recreation is taking place. I see Jesus showing them that I am the maker, even though they could not see it. He begins to write down how things were supposed to be. What he had made, his creation had lost its path, and he wants to restore things. And so he's going back to the drawing board. He's going back to the dust where he got the woman, and there was the dust there. This woman now was like a dead corpse, dead in sin, and Jesus needs to recreate her, needs to give her. He was also around. When we look at the creation process, there was the dust and there was breath of life. And so everything was ready. The dust was there, but it was lying lifeless in sin. And Christ, the life giver, was there to breathe life into her. And as he is writing down, whatever he was writing down, he was breathing life into the woman. And he was also breathing life into the people around him. It was a time of restoration. It was a time of factory settings. That's what I call it. When you have a phone and it is filled with so much viruses, you flush it and you restore it to factory settings. And so this is what was happening. These people were filled with hate. These people had moved away from the plan of creation, from what God had planned. And so Jesus goes down to say, "This is how I made you. I want you to know that when I created this dust is supposed not to commit adultery. It's not supposed to steal." And so when they see what Jesus writes, their minds come back to normal. The creation process is complete. They have been recreated. They have come back to their normal senses. Whether they decide to listen to what Christ has said, it is up to them. But they came to the realization that this is how they were supposed to be. And Christ restored not only this woman, but the minds of these people into how they were supposed to live. I also want to share with you how this woman behaves, because even though she was guilty, she could have defended herself to say, "These people have brought me here, but I'm alone. Where is the man that I committed adultery with?" But she accepts her fault. You need to understand that in life it is important for you to have restoration, for you to be able to be restored by God. Accept your fault. Even though people drag you into certain messes, come and own up your problems. Come and own up your mistakes. She is there until Jesus rises up. She waits for him as her creator to rise up and tell her to go and not sin again. When you submit yourself to Christ and accept that you are wrong, Christ restores you back to factory settings. He restores you to how you should live. This woman teaches us that it is important to accept our mistakes for us to be restored. May the good Lord bless you and I as we learn and accept our faults so that we can be restored. God bless.